My name is Olivia Carter, and the day I signed my divorce papers, everyone thought I had just signed away my future. Even my husband smiled while I held the pen. What none of them knew was that those same papers would become the reason I walked away richer than he ever imagined. For 12 years, I believed I had the perfect marriage. Ethan and I built a comfortable life in Denver. We had a beautiful home, 2 wonderful children, and what looked like a successful family business. I trusted him with everything, because that's what wives are supposed to do, right? I worked from home so I could raise our kids while also managing the bookkeeping for his construction company. Every invoice, payroll record, tax return, and contract passed through my hands. I never questioned anything because I thought we were building our future together. Then Ethan started changing. He became distant. He guarded his phone like it contained state secrets. Business trips became more frequent, and somehow there was never enough money, even though the company was landing bigger projects than ever before. One evening, my mother-in-law Linda came over with her usual fake smile. "Olivia," she said, "sometimes marriages just run their course. If Ethan wants a divorce, don't make it ugly. Think about the children." That sentence hit me like a truck. I hadn't even known he wanted a divorce. The very next morning, Ethan admitted he had been seeing someone else for almost a year. He didn't apologize. Instead, he said, "Just sign the papers. I'll let you stay in the house for 6 months. That's more than fair." I was devastated. I barely slept for days. A week later, he and his expensive attorney placed a thick stack of documents in front of me. Linda sat beside him, smiling like she'd already won. "You don't need your own lawyer," Ethan said. "This is standard paperwork." I almost believed him. Almost. Something inside me whispered that I should slow down, so instead of signing immediately, I asked for 48 hours. Ethan looked irritated, but he agreed. That decision changed my life. The next morning, I met with a divorce attorney named Rebecca. She quietly read every single page while I nervously waited. After nearly an hour, she looked up and smiled. "Did your husband really ask you to sign this?" I nodded. She laughed. "Olivia, this agreement contains one of the biggest mistakes I've seen in years." I stared at her in confusion. Because Ethan's attorney had copied language from another settlement, one clause accidentally transferred ownership of every business asset that had been purchased during the marriage into my share before calculating the final division. That included heavy equipment, company vehicles, investment accounts, and several undeveloped properties. The mistake was worth millions. Rebecca explained that once properly signed, the agreement could become legally binding. I couldn't believe it. That was the first twist. Instead of celebrating, Rebecca gave me one instruction. Don't change a single word. 2 days later, I calmly returned to Ethan's office. He looked confident. "So," he smirked, "ready to move on?" I smiled softly. "I am." I signed exactly where he pointed. He signed immediately after me. Linda practically celebrated before I even walked out the door. For the first time in months, I smiled too. 3 weeks later, everything exploded. Rebecca officially filed the signed agreement with the court. Within days, Ethan's attorney realized the drafting error. They demanded that I voluntarily amend the settlement. I refused. Then they accused me of tricking Ethan. But the judge reviewed everything carefully. Ethan had been represented by experienced legal counsel. I had simply accepted the agreement they themselves had prepared. The judge ruled that the mistake was entirely their responsibility. Watching Ethan's face when he heard that ruling was unforgettable. But karma wasn't finished yet. That was the second twist. During the court proceedings, financial records became public. As we reviewed company documents, Rebecca discovered something strange. Large payments had been disappearing into fake consulting companies. Those companies were actually owned by Ethan's girlfriend. For nearly 2 years, he had been secretly moving marital money into her accounts. The court considered it an attempt to hide assets. Suddenly, the judge ordered an additional financial investigation. Every hidden dollar came back into the marital estate. His own cheating had made my settlement even larger. Linda stopped smiling after that. She blamed Ethan. Ethan blamed his attorney. His attorney blamed everyone else. Meanwhile, I quietly focused on rebuilding my life. I bought a smaller home with a big backyard for my children. For the first time in years, the house actually felt peaceful. I started taking business classes because I finally realized something. For over a decade, I had already been running most of the company behind the scenes. I knew the numbers better than Ethan ever did. Then came the third and biggest twist. Several months later, the construction company started collapsing. Without me managing payroll, taxes, vendor payments, and budgets, mistakes piled up quickly. Projects fell behind. Clients left. Employees resigned. One afternoon, I received a phone call from one of Ethan's largest former clients. "We always knew you were the organized one," he said. "If you ever start your own company, we'd like to work with you." That conversation changed everything. Using part of my settlement, I launched a small construction management consulting firm. Former employees began joining me. Former clients followed. Within 2 years, my company was earning more than Ethan's business had ever made. The same people who once believed I was just the wife suddenly realized I had been the real foundation all along. As for Ethan, his girlfriend left after the money disappeared. Linda eventually stopped calling because there was nobody left to blame except the son she had always defended. One afternoon, while picking up our children after visitation, Ethan quietly looked at my office building. "I never thought you'd end up with all this," he admitted. I simply smiled. "You thought the divorce would end my story?" "It was actually the beginning." Looking back now, I don't feel angry anymore. Betrayal broke my heart, but knowledge rebuilt my life. The greatest revenge wasn't taking anything from Ethan. It was discovering my own worth after spending years letting someone else define it. If there's one lesson I've learned, it's this. Never let anyone rush you into signing away your future. Sometimes, the smartest thing a woman can do is pause, ask questions, and let the truth do all the work. Because karma doesn't always arrive with loud words. Sometimes, it arrives in the fine print.